I am on here 5 minutes early and I'm just amazed with myself. I never cease to amaze myself all the time. Because I used to be like running late or trying to do too many things right or like having like this self-sabotage thing going on. Do you guys know what I mean? Even with something fun like this, I would self-sabotage myself. And we do it subconsciously, right? And then I would be like late or rushed or stressed trying to get on here because I scheduled it. And it's like nothing I have to do. But if you schedule something or you tell people you're going to do it, you're like, you're going to do it unless you're sick or something happens. And now it's like, I'm just more even keel. I don't know if I found that balance better with life or if I've just given up the burden and the stress of all the things that don't matter anymore. And I was just laughing. I know nobody's on here, but if you come in, awesome. Comment if you'd like to show yourself or hide behind a persona or something else online. I really don't care. I don't mind either way. Everybody's free to do whatever they want, right? But I was laughing because I can't stop watching like the political parodies and the SNL videos. If you guys know Saturday Night Live, SNL's been my jam ever since I was a little kid. Yeah, I've watched the old ones, the new ones, the present, I've watched a bunch of them. And yeah, the political parodies are always fun because people take politics so seriously. Most people do. And it's really, I've realized later in life, it's not so much a serious thing. I feel like in one way it is, but in another way it's not. That goes into a whole different theory I have on the world and how it's being projected back to us, and we're mirroring and projecting to each other, and it's like a stage. What's that? The William Shakespeare quote: "The world is but a stage, and the men and women merely players." So it kind of, my thought and my theories on politics and all these things on being a celebrity or a public figure in general kind of go into that bucket of believing everything's a stage, everything is like a persona, premeditated or pre-set up, and then everybody's like falling in line. Or I know a lot of things on video now are just AI or created. It's made real through someone's eyes that can actually be consciousness and like can break everything down. And I'm not gonna get too woo-woo on you guys because I'm gonna stop there. I'm getting woo-woo. That's what we call it. Woo-woo, tree hugger. Just so open-minded that maybe other people can't really relate. So I'll save you the trouble from going too far down that road, love. I'll wait a minute until it's like actually time. But I figured I should get on here early or right on time because I started drinking this wine, you guys, and I don't know if it's just later in life. I don't know if it's like my environment or what, but like usually wine, I start to get warmer and then like I can feel it. And then I just want to like lay down because there's like, it makes pressure in my head. I can feel it. I don't know if it's the sulfites. I'm going to look that up. Or how it's bottled or what. I'm pretty sure it's the sulfites. They say if you drink natural organic wine, there's no sulfites, but I've still felt that way from drinking organic wine. So they say. So who knows, really? Hopefully we'll find out in the end. But I feel like when I get on these live streams, I'm usually like, I'm having a glass of wine, I'm having a drink. And I like never drink except when I'm doing like live streams lately. I don't get out much anymore, but if I were to get out more or have some more space or whatnot, then I would probably enjoy it a little bit more. But not too much, you know what I mean? So it's Friday night. It's the Friday Flow show. And what is it? September 6th. So yeah, I was like, let's get the September season started off right and sit down and chat And I've got my little plaid nerdy outfit on. I don't know where I put my fake glasses though. That would look so nerdy and cute with this. I'm looking around. I'm sure they're upstairs somewhere. I'm going through a lot of my stuff. I don't know. Do you guys go through your stuff like clothes, books, you know, if you're a girl, makeup, skincare, just accessories, like personal, whatever your personal stuff is? Do you go through it like once a year or like once a quarter, or like do you just wait until it's just, you're like, oh my God, it's been years and now I have to clean through the stuff? Or some people do it like once a month, like if you're super organized. If you guys have never heard of Marie Kondo, she came out with this book, and it's just her program. Of course, she came up with years ago, but it's oh my gosh, I'm gonna forget what it's called. It's The Joy of Tidying. Oh my God, I almost said The Joy of Cleaning. It's The Joy of Tidying. Yeah, Marie Kondo. It's Japanese, beautiful, sweet lady. She has a series of the shows where she goes in and helps people organize and do the joy of tidying, but it's like a reality show. I think it's on Netflix, but I'll check. I've watched it before after I read the book. I got the book many years ago. When I got my own place, I had already been married and like decided to separate and start going through divorce. And it was actually my first place. The first time I rented, the first time I put my name only on something, because I went from my parents' house to being married and buying a condo with my spouse at the time and doing all these things. So it was very like old school, traditional, like, and so I remember being in my first place, and it was a townhouse, and it was like really nice, and it made me feel so good. And I remember getting that book because I was like, I'm doing a great, like, it was a cleaner place than like the condo I had bought with my ex-husband and stuff. And it was just like a really good environment. And I still struggled with like tidying certain or cleaning certain aspects of it when I would get stressed or I'd be working too much. But it was such a spacious place that I could keep most of it like clean. And I was just amazed, like, this is staying clean. And I remember getting that book, and I don't know if anybody else has, but if you haven't and you struggle with that, or you just need like a new zest, like a pick me up for organizing, tidying, if you need to get rid of stuff, it was the one and only book, the one and only like way I could think about it in my mind that was so simple and it made sense, right? Because it was just simple. Does this bring you joy? You pick up the item, whatever it is, it could be anything, a coffee mug, right? I'm drinking water out of this, a wine glass, you know, your notebooks, your clothes. You pick up the item and you go through one thing at a time, and you have it organized. Like, I'm going to go through these clothes. I'm going to go through these books. And you have like piles or organizational corners or however you're going to do it. And you go through and you actually pick up the item and look at it. And does this bring me joy? Is this bringing me life? Is this adding to my life? Is this making me, how does this make me feel? It's like those questions, and just surrounded around joy. And it was like, once you get to that point, it's like so easy to do. You're like, yes, no, joy, yes, no. And then if you have a question, I usually didn't have a question. I was like, yes or no. There were some maybes. She goes through that too in her reality series, when people are like, I don't know, like, because I think I need this. Like, you'll have kids, or you'll have an extenuating circumstance or reason why you think you might need this thing and you don't use it all the time, or maybe it doesn't bring you joy, but it's so useful. And she kind of goes through that too. So, but it makes it so much more simple. That is like the only thing I would ever read, recommend, follow to clean or organize, unless it's just easy for you. And it has become easier for me. I'm not in my own place right now. I'm like staying with family and doing some transitional organization and discarding and stuff like that. So it's a lot. I've moved a few times, and I've like bought a few different households and full of furniture. It's like I've staged, almost like on accident, staged a few homes like a handful of times, and like bought it myself. And yeah, and I've changed jobs and I've done this. And now I'm kind of like, okay, I'm going through a transition. Let me take some time and just really come to terms with all the years of everything. Not sure about you guys. Maybe you've lived in one or two homes, or maybe people say when they're in the military, they travel a lot or they moved a lot. So I can definitely relate to that. And it doesn't matter how old we are. I'm like, age is just a number, but I'm 39. I'm supposed to be turning 40 this year. I keep saying that. I'm like, we'll see. We'll see if I make it, you guys. It really doesn't matter. Age really is a number to me. To other people, though, it's all about the meaning that you attribute to it, right? And the definition that it means to you. So for me, it's just a number. It really doesn't matter. It's about the person. It's about the vibe, the lifestyle, the ideology, the intention, motivations, all of that. Because when it's a certain way on the inside, it does come out on the outside. Like it just does. It's how life is. It's science. It's psychology. It's all of that. So if you feel old on the inside, which I have so many times, and I look in the mirror and I look older, I look stressed, I've had illness, so many symptoms I've gone through, and I'm sure some people, you guys out there, have experienced that too. Don't be afraid to comment or jump in here, or even later if you watch this, let me know what you've gone through. I'm going to be sharing more of my story on my YouTube channel too. I've shared a lot of different parts of my life, but not some other things I've gone through. So, yeah, like it is just a number to me, and you guys can be honest with me if it means something to you or not. Like in a relationship, with your family, with your friends, and with new people you meet, if you have like different ages of friends, or if you've like been with somebody younger or older, or just in general, if you look at people a different way, if they're younger or older than you, they call it ageism, right? If it's like a racism or this ism, it's ageism. It's big with like work and job, careers. People totally get cast aside when they get older in the career world and the job world. Not like smaller regular jobs, but right, like when you have a big career, you have big jobs, you're getting paid bigger money. It really sucks, and it's a real thing. It happens. I've seen it happen to family, to friends, and just acquaintances, but it's wild. And even if you're completely of great faculty and you're like, you might be 60, 70 years old, you could be doing an amazing job in your career, and they'll just be like, okay, we can get this other person younger, pay them less, right? Get them in here, get you out of here. Let's move it along. And it's really sad because the society we've lived in have made people like a number, let alone your age is a number, so whew, I'm getting up on that soapbox today. I better take a little sip of water before I keep going on the line. But I did want to check out these questions that I had looked up. Hold on. Yeah, let me know if you guys are having a great Friday or getting ready for your Friday night. I am all alone, and it's raining here in Central Florida. And we've had some really sunny weather. It's supposed to be cloudy a lot, but every time I'm outside, it seems like the sun is shining. I don't know. Maybe it's just my perspective, my experience, but it gets cloudy, and then like some days it rains, some days it doesn't. But if you're on here, if you comment or anything, and I'm looking at something else like I am right now, I will get back in and totally see it if it comes through. But yeah, there's some questions I looked up that I thought would be cool, because I'm serious a lot and I go on my soapbox and talk about all these life things. But it said, here's some fun questions. And it was like funny questions. What was your most embarrassing moment? It's supposed to be a funny question, right? What's your most embarrassing moment? Let me know if you guys have one. I have so many that it's hard to just whittle it down to one. But then again, I think more of my really embarrassing moments have been when I was like a child or a teenager to a young adult because that's when I cared more and you could actually embarrass me. I could embarrass myself even for like a moment or a minute. And then that didn't last because maybe I thought then I could like find the humor in it. I would laugh. But as I got older, it was getting harder and harder to embarrass me, to embarrass myself or anyone else, to embarrass me, for just accidents to happen. It has become near damn impossible to embarrass me. So if I'm like, whatever, if you want to take this as a challenge, go ahead. But at this point, I've experienced a lot of things, and I've also faced a lot of things that maybe other people wouldn't want to do, that they would find embarrassing. And I've kind of gone, you know what? I'm going to do that. That's going to make me feel courageous or like vulnerable. I'm going to do, like when I was acting and learning about the acting world and enjoying that training, I really went full into it and said, I am not going to cower behind like my Christian upbringing, not meaning that in a bad way at all. Like, I'm just not going to cower behind it and say, oh, I can't do this role, or I can't say this or do this because I have this faith or this or that reason. If I take on a role, if I say I'm going to do acting, I'm going to do it. And if I'm going to play a role, I'm going to do this. If you need to turn down a role or turn down a scene, then you can. But if you get to look at it, you get to choose ahead of time. If you're not doing improv on the moment, which I love the improv, of course, too. But I would sign up to do things that maybe other people would shy away from or be embarrassed to do, whether it was really silly, like off the wall, wacky stuff, like making yourself look like an idiot, to the more like showing nudity, to sexuality, to, the intimacy on screen, just on a play. I embraced all of that, to using, language, to going there with the emotions, right? And being so vulnerable, not just like being able to cry and go there or get angry or embarrassed or frustrated in the scene, but literally to let yourself go through the roller coaster of emotions, to let it flare up and then go down and go, because that's the nuance of life. Like, we don't go balls to the wall for too long, right? If you have a peak in a moment in a scene, it might peak and then go down and go like this. That's kind of how the flow of life goes. That's how we're going on the Friday Flow show here. But yeah, I just went head first as hard as I could anyway into all of that. I'm sure I would go even more balls to the wall now if I was doing it, of taking a break from acting since I did my last project. I think it was filmed 2019, came out in 2020. So literally I haven't done acting really since then. I've done a lot of these online podcasts, live streaming. I've chosen to, do other jobs and focus on like healing and helping my son do online and digital school and things like that. And I've gone through different symptoms where I've needed to focus on healing and just getting better and spiritual awakening and all this kind of stuff I talk about. But all that to say, I have had plenty of embarrassing quote unquote moments where it's like bathroom stuff. I don't want to get too gross, but whether it's number one or number two, I'm just going to say I've had some accidents and some situations that have been not normal, like not the usual everyday. Like, I laugh too hard and that that's like nothing to me compared to some things that have happened to me. So I won't even go into them on here because some of them will just totally make gross or shock some of you out. But I will say one time, this one's a little bit more tamer to hear. And you have heard, like, if a woman has a baby, whether it's a natural or not, vaginal or C-section or whatever, those are the only two options, but I'm acting like there's more options. Regardless of the delivery, it puts a lot of pressure on your internal organs, like your bladder, your this, your that. So you can get used to that pressure, and it can take years, like a long time after, to come to a more normal place. And God bless women who just like have babies after babies, like back to back. It's just crazy. But I remember going to, I call it the trampoline park, but it's the Sky Zone. It's a jumping park or a jump zone. We don't call it a trampoline park anymore. I think that's like not, that's like old school and like weird. We call it jumping zones and like indoor jumping and ninja course facilities. So they have like the Gladiator, the Ninja, they have all these games. They have like this really cool slide they've added in there, or the one in Claremont has it. And I need to go back there, by the way, because they have all sorts of updated stuff. But I went there, maybe my first time with my son was great. It was like easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And then the next time, maybe I just thought it was going to be like that. And I didn't anticipate. And I went to the bathroom like I usually, because I'm like, you know, my son's 6, 7, 8 when we were going to this place a lot. And just a great age for them to go. And they have it sectioned out too. Like the adults can't jump with the kids, and then the teenagers are here, and the little kids are like, they have it very well separated out. So it's really safe. And there's always someone watching. But I would go to the bathroom and make sure, okay, I'm cool. And sure enough, I'm over there jumping before you know it. It's like I went to the bathroom and it totally didn't matter. It was like a river flowing. Have you ever guys heard that movie? A River Runs Through It. Brad Pitt's in it. Oh, it's so old school. It's like from the 90s now, but yeah, that was the river, and it was just running right through the Sky Zone. So there was no stopping it. I just remember I peed all over my jeans. It was just like everywhere, and like I couldn't stop it. It was a flow of, it was insane, and I couldn't stop it. And it was embarrassing because I didn't have anything to cover it up. Sometimes, you know, a lot of the time you'll bring like a sweatshirt or like a jacket. And that's me nowadays all the time. Like I have something in the car or like with me, because you never know, like air conditioning, right? In Florida is like a little stronger because it's hot, it's humid outside. But that time I was totally not prepared. And I went to the bathroom like I was going to be able to figure something out in there, or like they were going to have like an air dryer. There's not. It was just the old school paper towels. And it's like, okay, how am I going to remedy this? Because my son wasn't ready to leave yet. And I didn't want to make him leave just because I had an accent. You know, I'm thinking of him while I'm trying to put together, like, is there any way I can make this better? And there wasn't. And it was just like, I was just hanging around in my urine stained, wetted pants, jeans. So I will leave that story with you and hope you enjoy that embarrassing moment. I have plenty of them, so many more. I know when I was younger in elementary school, the kids had this thing called a slam book. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of these words or terms, but it was basically like a tell-all Q&A, which is, I mean, to me now, I would have never either written in it or answer certain questions. And the smart kids, I'm going to say I wasn't smart at the time, because the smart kids were like, they would answer certain tough questions like, oh, I don't have an answer for this, or like not applicable, you know, whatever they said. And I really believed the kids who created this slam book, and they were like, don't worry, you can write in it. Like no one else is going to read this but us. They're not going to find out. And it was like, who's your crush in this class? And I actually wrote it in there. And then of course the guy in the class like reads it, and like I get to see his facial reaction and like response in real time. Look, and I'm going, oh my God, no. It was like the most embarrassing thing ever. Because I remember that kid in my class, he was like the class clown, or he was like very extroverted. He was just very gregarious and out there. And like, there was no way of keeping that. He would never have kept quiet. He was like, what? He was like, why'd you write me? Like he didn't even get it. Like, he was like, why? And then he was like, oh, and then he looked like grossed out because he realized that I liked him, or I thought he was cute or whatever. And then I felt like shit, because I was like, oh my God, am I like disgusting or something? Like, why is he so freaked out? You know, just all of the just the most mortifying elementary school moment, right? So if you guys have any to share, please do. Please do. And make me feel better. But I have tons of stories like that. So those are just a few examples. And I will leave you guys on a light note like that. I know I take it serious and then I like to bring it up lighter for you. And I've already been chatting 25 minutes. It's almost 30. So I am trying my best to keep these short and sweet. And yeah, I hope you guys are having a great Friday night. Cheers to a great weekend. And yeah, let me know what y'all are up to, or let me know what your embarrassing moment was. And this is going on the YouTube. And if it's not the YouTube, listen to me. Oh my God, I sound like such a grandma. It should be, I know sometimes it disconnects on here because I'm still using the free version, but I'm going to upgrade it soon because then I won't have like this StreamYard logo and I can stream multiple platforms and all that good stuff. So I am going to do that soon. And let me know if you have any requests and any stories to share about embarrassing moments. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.